Hey, once again, I'm back to do another reaction for you all. This one, I'm sure a lot of you will like. It's sumo. I know a lot of you guys love your sumo. I've had loads of requests for sumo, and I've done a few of them already. But this one, who's requested this one? Let's see if I can find them on my list. I think a couple of people have asked for this one actually. Let's just see if I can find it. Yeah, it's a track called Estrellando desde el Oceano. I'm pronouncing that terribly, I'm sure. But two people have asked for it. Vivi Carterman and Ariel Soria both asked for this, and they particularly asked for the studio version. A studio version. I think because the live versions don't always come across so well. I kind of like doing the live ones though, because I'm like very much a gig goer and I enjoy the live environment. But I can understand why people would want you to listen to the studio one, because you can get the full impact of what the song is meant to sound like. So it does make sense. But I'm going to share this now and yeah, see what I think about it. That's the only way to go forward. Watch the track, see what I think, make my words.
Along the road, well, I had nothing left to hide, so what the heck? Firefly cars, women rushing past. The road was long and the race was fast. Gradually I fell behind. There was a blind leading the blind. There was a blind leading the blind.
Okay, some fun lyrics in this. It's all in English. It's all in, why is it called Estrellando desde el Oceano when he sings busting out of the ocean? Why? I can't understand. So I know he was Scottish mother and Italian father, and he grew up in Scotland. He did his schooling in Scotland, and then he moved to Argentina. But he sings everything in English, but the song titles are mostly still in Spanish. I think that's kind of weird. I mean, I guess he wants to appeal to the Argentinians when he was there. But did he learn Spanish? Surely he must have spoken Spanish as well. I don't know though. Maybe he never learned Spanish. Did he just go there and was he already doing music before he went to Argentina? Because you think because I know a lot of the Argentinian bands that I'm asked to react to are always singing in Spanish, and that's kind of one of their things. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it appeals to you more if you can understand what's being sung. It's going to appeal to you more, isn't it? So that makes sense that people in a Spanish-speaking country would prefer Spanish-speaking bands. But this is like an English-speaking guy who got massively huge, but it's just so weird that his song title is in Spanish when he doesn't sing a single line of Spanish. I suppose it's trying to fool you. Buy my records. It's got a Spanish name, and then I've got to sing it in English though. And he's got some weird lines in there. This woman has his head in some sweet and sour sauce or something. She was in a car and I was riding my horse and stuff like that. The blind's leading the blind. But yeah, it's a good kind of pop rock kind of song. It reminds me for some reason Billy. What was his name? The punky kind of guy, Billy Idol. Kind of a Billy Idol kind of vibe to it. But just maybe it's his voice, the way he's singing it, and I don't know, it's got that kind of vibe, this track, to me anyway. But yeah, let's just carry on.
this and give me that. I got no need for your satin and tat. Give me this and give me that. I got no need for your bibbity 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 bobbity hat. Just my horse and me. Just my horse and me. Just my horse and me.
What was he saying there? Was he saying place names? Sounded like maybe he was saying names of places in Argentina, maybe. I wasn't 100% sure on that. But let's just finish it off. I don't know why, but I shouldn't have butted in then. He's just right. I know the Billy Idol thing, his voice sounds like Billy Idol. Like at certain points, when he's going a little bit faster, it gives me that kind of Billy Idol kind of vibe for some reason.
I'm pushing out of the ocean. I'm shooting out of the ocean. I'm pushing out of the ocean.
Okay, yeah, I can live with that. That was an interesting enough track. It had a nice kind of rocking, sort of slightly, but kind of pop rocking kind of vibe to it. It's like one of the, I can imagine that being like a one to appeal to like a big audience, you know, not really. It wasn't that obscure. It didn't have some. Like, for example, the Crowdcon one that I reacted to had that kind of drums and pipes kind of sound going on. And that would be a bit, that's a bit strange. But this one to me sounded more like a commercial kind of track trying to appeal to a wide audience. It had a nice kind of rocking little beat to it. Yeah, can't say the guitars were there. At the end, you could hear the guitar solo, but it was like quiet, kind of quiet, like sort of muted, sort of downplayed kind of thing. So the instruments weren't really up in your face. There was like a nice sort of driving beat kind of thing, and you had him singing over the top most of it. And kind of his voice was driving the song along. There wasn't a great amount of periods where he wasn't singing. I don't think there wasn't like a big stop for a drum fill or a solo, and at least I don't remember there being anyway. It seemed like it was a kind of pretty constantly kind of song with him singing through quite a lot of it. It's like quite a vocal driven kind of tune maybe, and there's some interesting fun lyrics to start off with, but then it kind of like I got to that period where I wasn't sure what he was talking about. He was sort of, we're in something, we're in something. I think so. I kind of thought he was naming places in Argentina, dropping like place names, but I couldn't quite make out what he was saying with any of those. So I'm guessing it was. Yeah, that's probably my guess anyway. Maybe he's in his car, or he's on his horse, and she's in her car, and they're riding. I don't know. It was a really, and even getting the vibe of what the song was about. Was he? He wasn't like boy meets girl, they fall in love and go off on a whirlwind romance, and I think. And what was all that about bursting out of the ocean? Who was bursting out of the ocean? It was like it's one of those songs like the lyrics didn't seem to tell a story. Not that I could tell, not like a coherent story anyway. At least from my understanding of what he was saying. It was, I think the first line was something about she had my head on a plate with sweet and sour sauce. It was like, what? This is a crazy lyric. And then she was in the car and I was on my horse. And then who was busting out of the ocean? But why was you in the ocean? Were you still on your horse when you were in the ocean? I don't know what's going on exactly. But I don't think it was really important what the lyrics were. I don't think it's one of those ones to. I mean, I'd be very surprised if there's any kind of deep and hidden meaning in the lyrics. It would just seem like some cool, catchy stuff to say. Yeah, and just to drive the song along with that nice little beat going on, like a nice kind of rocky kind of beat. So it reminded me slightly of Billy Idol, like, you know, White Wedding, those kind of songs. Like it's got a nice infectious kind of quite energetic kind of sort of track. Not your ballad, not your slow ballad kind of lovey-dovey kind of song, but more of like a Pink stroke Billy Idol kind of slightly punky edge, sort of rocky kind of song, you know, but pop, sort of punk or pop rock or something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it though. It was a good rhythm, like nice kind of infectious tune. And even though I didn't know what the heck he was singing, he sings good, he sings well, and it's it adds to the whole general kind of drive of the song. To be honest, yeah, I can imagine this is the kind of song. I don't know, for some reason I can picture that song being on Grand Theft Auto 6 or something, being playing on the radio in Grand Theft Auto while you're driving around running people over. It's kind of like it feels like an 80s vibe as well. It's got that kind of 80s pop rocky kind of pop punky kind of vibe. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, didn't mind that at all. Cheers for suggesting it to me. So that was suggested to me, as I said. A couple of people gave me that one to check out. It was Vivi Kataman and Ariel Soria. So hopefully you enjoyed my reaction, you folks. And I'll be back another time to do another reaction very soon, probably tomorrow, as long as I can get everything to download properly. Until then, gracias por mirar, vuelva mañana para otro video. Cheers.